Oh, hi. All right, so it's been a while, folks. It has been a while, but I'm here because I saw a video from good old Ben Shapiro. I saw it pop up, and he's someone who has decent enough political takes. I found though that his media takes are horrendously horrific. And he decided to put out a video ranking his top 5 best and worst MCU movies, according to him. So I figured that I would cover it because he is bound to have some horrendous takes. Or maybe, who knows? He might surprise us, folks. I've only seen like the first minute, so there is a chance that he might actually say something that I don't consider to be completely worthless. Potentially, who knows? Don't want to get your hopes up. But let's dive right into the brain, the mind of Ben Shapiro, who I firmly believe is best left to sticking in his lane of politics and not delving into media criticism whatsoever. But here we go.
Alrighty, folks, today we're going to rank the best and worst Marvel movies of all time. This video is sponsored by PDS Dev. Okay, folks, as we go through this journey through the Marvel movies, we have one person who knows much about Marvel movies. That, of course, would be Phil, who's wearing the gear to show it.
Oh,
Superman's my favorite
I have no clue Phil is, by the way. But okay.
Marvel hero.
Oh man, and we also have Sarah, who doesn't even
Oh,
know.
guys, he's got a laugh track going. Guys, one of the things I do despise about like even his like political, like all his videos in general, they're way too overproduced. Like you lose any sense of like connection to this dude when everything's like there's all these camera angles, all these people in the background, all these like corporate comments like put in to make the video seem even more produced than it already is. Not a fan of his videos at all.
What Marvel is or what comics are, and is in the video for a reason no one can really figure out, actually.
I'm so happy to be here, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
The Marvel movies, I will admit that they are not my cup of tea, which means that my feelings about the Marvel movies tend to be more in the middle. Tends to be like, well, that was enjoyable. And then the minute I leave the theater, I don't remember a single thing about the movie.
Which, okay, 2 points here. That is a good stance. That's an enjoyable stance for to explore someone's position on something when they're like not overly attached to it or overly against it. They're just in the middle. It gives a more like objective type of viewpoint. What I don't understand is, he's like, oh yeah, guys, when I leave the theater, I don't tend to remember anything that happened. It's like, then what was the point? Like, unless the story is complete rubbish, you should at least have something to take away from it. If you don't, then again, what's the point? Why are you making the video? But I mean, I guess we'll see.
I just watched. It also means that the movies I tend to like from Marvel are the ones that are lighter and funnier. But today we're going to do my top 5 Marvel movies and also the bottom 5 Marvel movies. So these are not necessarily in order, but here are my top 5 Marvel movies.
Why? Why not put them in order, Ben? I mean, okay.
Number 1 is the original Iron Man. So the original Iron Man is really, really great.
Obviously, that's everyone. That's everyone. It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure. Maybe it genuinely is. Sure. Guys, I think the original Iron Man definitely top 10, not top 5, in my opinion. I mean, it's a solid movie. I don't think there's anything really groundbreaking in it. It's just it's fine. But
obviously, Robert Downey Jr., who revivified his career on the back of this, and Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow. It's excellent. It is Elon Musk wearing a suit, flying around, being libertarian. And it's great.
I am Iron Man.
It's great. Like the message of the film.
How you'd sum up Iron Man? Elon Musk flying around in a suit, being libertarian? Like if you had to like give a thesis on Iron Man, that's it. I don't know. It doesn't really settle with me at all, but sure.
Film is about how business is better than government. That is what the movie is about. Literally, the end of the film is him turning to Congress and being like, no, I'm not giving you my multi-billion-dollar weapon.
Is that a takeaway from Iron Man that business is better than government? Not that the path of when you go down a certain path of working so hard to build something up, there's the threat of it becoming so great and so powerful that it grows beyond your control and beyond your ability to realize the threat that you've created, like with him and, the weapons, the nuclear weapons he creates and his character journey and being, kidnapped and everything. Like, I don't know.
Control America's national defense anymore. I do. I'm into it. I like it. So Iron Man 2008, that's my number 1. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. So the original Guardian of the Galaxy was a real breath of fresh air.
Guardians of the Galaxy, like off the top of my head, I drank it. Maybe definitely top 5, or maybe number 5 out of if I had to, like, rank the movies, my top 5 favorites, Guardians could potentially be number 5, out of them. It's a really solid movie. I'm curious, though, why he chose it.
Because it's just funny. It's Chris Pratt and Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper, and it's creative and gonzo and bizarre, and James Gunn really lets it all hang out. It's just enjoyable. Yeah, and it's not meant to be serious. It's not meant to have any sort of actual ideological core.
Yeah, it
It's
is. Dude, okay, yeah, as I said earlier, he obviously he takes nothing away from his movie experiences. Yeah, Guardians 1 is filled with emotion, filled with heart, filled with seriousness. Unlike most current Marvel movies, Guardians 1 isn't undercut by humor. There's a lot of takeaways from it. Lots of character stuff like the opening, Quill and his mom, Quill's like character arc, Gamora's character arc, Quill like learning to be not just like a Ravager, not just out for himself, but actually care about people. Similar character arcs for Rocket. It's like there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of substance there. It's not just comedy.
just a bunch of people going around doing fun things, and those people may
No, it's not the takeaway you should have.
include a non-talking tree as well as a talking raccoon.
Groot does talk, though.
I'm Groot.
You sure? Oh yeah, guys. It's about a non-talking tree. Insert clip of him talking. That's chill.
Yeah, you said that.
Great soundtrack. Bad villain.
Yeah, Lee Pace is now like every villain in every
Yeah,
movie, right?
Pace is awesome. Ronan's awesome. I'm tired of people saying Ronan's not a good villain. He's phenomenal, actually.
Can you explain the raccoon thing? I'm so confused.
That's a so they're putting out the overly produced script for the video, right? And they're like, producer's note, let's have the girl say, can you explain the raccoon thing? I'm so confused. Like that kind of summarizes what I hate about Ben Shapiro and his overly produced videos. And pretty much everything I hate about the Daily Wire is kind of summed up right there, actually.
He's not a raccoon, actually.
What the fuck do you mean he's not a raccoon? What is he then?
He's raccoon-like.
Don't call
What does that mean?
me a raccoon. I'm sorry.
He's an alien that looks like a raccoon.
Excuse me, did you watch Guardians 1? He's an alien. Okay. So Ben Shapiro's takeaway from Guardians 1 is actually, guys, there's a tree that doesn't talk, and there's an alien pretending to be a raccoon that does talk. Yeah, Mick, if Killen goes missing and the main character in the new books is changed to Ben, we know what happened. I don't believe Ben's capable of writing a book. I don't believe Ben's capable of writing even like a video by himself, or scripting anything in general. Listen, I think we all have what we're good at, right? I think Ben is phenomenal at countering certain political arguments. I think he's very good at putting together a political argument. I think he's very good at public speaking. I would prefer him to spend a bit more time actually exploring media before attempting to criticize something that I don't think he understands whatsoever. What's up, Andrew? Guys, nice seeing y'all coming in. I know it's been a while, but I'm back for tonight at least to tackle Ben's opinions.
As we'll see, it gets old. Number 3, Ant-Man. So Ant-Man is wildly underrated to me.
You know what? I actually agree with that. I think Ant-Man's definitely not top 5, not even top 10 for me. But I think Ant-Man is a quite underrated movie. I think it's really solidly done. There aren't many writing issues at all. I think the comedy really hits like 99% of it. I think Ant-Man's a really solid movie. So I agree with Ben on that.
It's a fun movie. There's
Here
nothing
we go
serious
again.
about it. There's nothing intense about it. It's just
Same
funny
thing you
and
said about Guardians. There's nothing serious about it. Same thing. So it's like, but there is though. Like, do you not have the takeaway that Ant-Man? It's like, it's about him learning, kind of similar arc to Peter Quill in Guardians. It's about Paul Rudd, or Ant-Man, sorry, learning to put aside his life of crime to struggling with that and the responsibility of his daughter and his family, and moving past being a criminal to take care of his family, to reconnect with his daughter, about him struggling with the morality of what Hanks pulled him into, and at the end with him making the ultimate sacrifice of shrinking in, becoming so small he thinks he's going to disappear into the quantum realm and never come back. There's a lot of emotion to it. There's a lot of seriousness, which obviously Ben missed. But
Paul Rudd is funny and the script is good and it's enjoyable. And that's all I'm looking for from Marvel movies. I understand there are people who watch the Marvel movies and like very into the Captain America, very serious mythology. But one of my big problems with Marvel is that Marvel is wildly inconsistent with its own characters. And we'll get to that when we get to
I could make a firm argument that it isn't up till a certain point, up till like 2018. I'd say probably 80% of the character work is very well done, shockingly well done, across movies with the number of characters they have to juggle with, increasing number as the phases continue. Again, up till a certain point. Obviously, like past like Endgame, it's kind of garbage, but.
some of the Captain America stuff, because you will note that there are no Captain America movies at the top of my list, even though people really, really like the Captain America movies. And I will explain why. Doctor Strange 2016. Again,
Maybe I missed something because I'm spending time criticizing, but what he keeps talking about the Captain America movies. Like, what's his obsession here? With them.
Enjoyable. Like I go for enjoyable.
So far, his top 5, we've had Ant-Man, Iron Man, Guardians, and Doctor Strange. I would not have guessed Doctor Strange.
So Benedict Cumberbatch is great as Doctor Strange. I like origin stories. I do. And you'll notice that most of these are sort of the originals, right? Like Ant-Man's an origin story, Guardians of the Galaxy is an origin story, Iron Man's an origin story. Like, I want to know the backstory. Once we know the characters and they have like random sort of adventures, I find it less interesting because there's very little character development that happens from these characters.
No, the reason why Marvel was so fantastic to begin with, like in the early stages, is because it had so much character development. Like you'd have them, like Captain America 1, Iron Man 1, Thor 1, and then you'd have an Avengers 1, the character development continues, Age of Ultron continues, throughout like Thor 2, Thor 3. As the movies that continue, the character arcs continue, the characters progress in an enjoyable, fun, complex way. So no, Ben, I disagree there completely. An example of non-character progression would be like the DC movies where everything resets and nothing makes any sense whatsoever.
They're more like sitcom characters.
What are your thoughts on the
characters?
criticism of him doing like a second-rate RDJ impression?
Sorry, is that criticism of Doctor Strange that Benedict Cumberbatch is like impersonating or doing an imitation of RDJ? I never heard that, and I firmly disagree.
Strange.
Kind of, maybe, but
No.
I don't know. I feel like that's a stretch. Also, if
Of
you're
course.
imitating somebody who's been incredibly successful as a superhero, then I don't understand why that's terrible.
Is that
or
a
bad.
thing?
Like
Is that do people think Cumberbatch is imitating RDJ in his performance? I never heard that, and I firmly disagree.
I think that's kind of a weak criticism.
Yeah.
Okay, and then again, filling out my enjoyable but not important movies, Thor Ragnarok. A lot of people like original Thor. I'm not as big a fan of
Guys,
original Thor.
I
think
love Thor Ragnarok. It's definitely top 5. Go Ben, I guess. I'm sure. No, listen. I'm sure the reason Ben likes Ragnarok is gonna be completely different from the reasons I like Ragnarok, though. Unfortunately.
Itself too seriously, and Thor Ragnarok is just pure silly. And so you're watching it, and you're like, "This is
okay." I guess he doesn't have the ability to take away anything substantial. He just takes away silly comedy, goofy. I mean, which is fine. I guess.
this is just funny." The scene where he's in the arena and suddenly the Hulk appears is really fun. Like it's one of the most memeable Marvel movies, Thor Ragnarok.
Yes!
And then they proceeded to just destroy Thor as a character. What the hell? Like, why? We'll just make fat Thor. Okay,
Yeah.
that's like a one-off joke. You can't do anything with that. But he spends like all of Avengers just being fat. Now, Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame is sort of my extra here.
I thought, oh, we're doing the extra. So I guess like he said, which I didn't fully catch, is that he's not ranking them in order. So he's just naming 5 enjoyable movies and 5 movies he disliked without any order. And I guess now he's popping in a bonus too. Endgame is awful. Endgame's definitely should not be mentioned in a positive light. But
We'll admit,
see why.
do not love it.
You didn't cry in the theater?
Not even remotely.
Wow.
I liked the only reason it
Of course not, guys, because I mean, obviously, what we've heard from him, he doesn't take away anything serious from any of these movies. So, I mean, why would he have emotional attachment to any of the characters? I mean, he called them sitcom characters, so
makes the top
Sums it up.
6 even is because of the ambition of it. One of the problems
he thinks Endgame is top 6. Wow.
in the Marvel universe, just generally, is that the villains are not that good.
The small price to pay for
The
something.
villains are fantastic. That's another of the positives I've been mentioning throughout this of the early phases. The villains, and you got Loki, you Ronan, Thanos, Ultron. Like, almost, I'd say probably a solid 70%, like 7 out of 10 of the villains are really solid in Marvel. Firmly disagree. And so you're saying the villains suck, and then showing Thanos like one of the best as your example? I'm curious.
So in the DC universe, you have Joker, who's like an all-time great villain. You have Lex Luthor, who's an all-time great villain. And these like amazing.
I've yet to see a live action portrayal of Lex Luthor that can compare to even like the lower tier Marvel villains. Okay, like take like the most mid tier one, like I don't know, Ronan for instance, because he mentioned Guardians 1. Ronan in Guardians 1 has I about 5-10 times exponentially more going on than any live action portrayal of Lex Luthor I've seen. Just saying.
Amazing villains. And then you go to the Marvel universe, and it's like Thanos, whose logic doesn't even make sense. Thanos, who's
Sorry?
like,
Oh, he's gonna make the argument everyone makes, which is paradoxical and pointless. I'll explain why after he makes it.
what, there was overpopulation on my planet, and that caused war. So what if I just make half of everything disappear? Okay, well, if you have like the glove that can manifest, why don't you just make extra planets, my dude?
All right. So that's like the most common like base level criticism of Thanos is, oh yeah, you've got the gauntlet that can do anything. Why not create infinite resources? Well, because then you'd have the same problem. Like you create X amount of resources, then in X amount of years, you're faced with the same problem, and by that time, you may no longer have the gauntlet. So it will just be a reoccurring issue. Versus if you half everything, then everyone learns from the experience, everyone realizes you got to conserve the resources, and you're kind of set, for a decent period of time at least. Certainly more so than the period of time if you just like create X amount of more resources. Yeah.
But the big problem that I have, again, in these universes is that no one actually dies. Like nobody just stay dead. Like just stay dead. Like if you're down, stay down, man.
You just don't know
I
when.
mean, they do though. I mean, that's definitely an issue. Again, like the many issues past like Infinity War Endgame. But I mean, up until Infinity War and during it, yeah, a lot of characters do die, and that's effective.
To give up, do you? You do this all day.
Wait, so are these not following the comic books? Like,
Oh my. I got you gotta in so I guess during the script or whatever they've got points where you insert quirky line from the girl, like insert quirky like, oh, so guys wait are these not following the comic books like at all? Like I despise the Daily Wire. I despise them. I despise the overproduced garbage. I'm gonna torture us with it one more time.
Universes is that no one actually dies. Like nobody just stays dead. Like just stay dead. Like if you're down, stay down, man.
You just don't know when to give up, do you? You do this all day.
wait, so are these not following the comic books like at all? Like,
What? Objection relevance. Objection
just start
relevance.
making stuff up.
Half and half.
And also, these
Half and
two are
half?
the highest grossing.
What? So you bring up an irrelevant point because I guess you have a certain amount of quirky inserts you have to do, and then you have the other irrelevant person say something irrelevant that has nothing to do with anything. Daily Wire's format.
In worldwide box office? Is
Plus throwing a few ad reads. For
that
good measure.
because they're good or because they have the most characters in them?
It was an event. This is an event movie. This is like this is the first big event movie in the theaters that I like. This was the biggest event in the theaters since the relaunch of the Star Wars brand in like the 90s.
It was like the finality of like a 23 movie run, so a lot of people were.
Was it? I
And
think Avatar Avatar made more, right? More people watched it. It was a bigger event, I think. Not that I care about it, just objection,
There's some rough moments in Endgame. That one shot of all the
That's
females
putting
on
it
the one
lightly.
side is real rough. The moment when Captain Marvel shows up. So Captain Marvel
Right, here's
breaks
the thing. I'd argue the female shot in Endgame is the exact same thing as what you do when you have your female irrelevant person insert quirky line. That has nothing to do with anything. So just saying.
the Marvel universe. She just she just breaks it. I mean, we'll get to this when we get to the worst, okay? Because Captain Marvel is the worst. We'll get to more of these rankings, which
Captain Marvel isn't even in the top 5 worst movies now. That's how bad things have gone.
You're either loving or hating in just one moment. First, getting into credit card debt, it's really easy. But getting out, the system is set up, provides a service to match that qualifies. There is no get out. I have friends who've had this. It's really, they can help provide alternative solutions. .com is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is the worst. Captain Marvel is terrible.
Captain Marvel. Okay, let's name the movies in the MCU worse than Captain Marvel. Multiverse of Madness, The Marvels, Quantumania, Wakanda Forever, which I didn't see, but I've heard enough. All right, we're at 4. Whatever. Oh, Love and Thunder. All right, there's 5 by themselves that are worse than Captain Marvel. Easily. So no.
And you can see it from the Rotten Tomatoes score. So let me just give you the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the ones that I thought were the best, right? Iron Man, 94% Rotten Tomatoes, 91% audience. Guardians of the Galaxy, 92. Ant-Man, 83.85. Doctor Strange, 89.86.
Can't believe Ant-Man's in there.
I know.
Not Winter Soldier.
We'll get to it. Okay, Thor Ragnarok, 93.87. All of these, the audience liked it, and the critics liked it. Now we get to the movies that I did not like. By far the worst is Captain Marvel, where the audience gap is a massive 34%. 79% Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 45% from the audience. And this is for a reason, and it's because that movie blows.
Like, you'd expect a bit more. Like, explain why. Don't just say it's bad. Explain why it's bad. For the good movies, don't just say, oh, I liked them because they were funny and whimsical. Explain why. I mean, I guess that apparently is actually the only reason you liked the ones you said you liked, though. So I guess we shouldn't expect more from him.
The worst is they de-aged Samuel L. Jackson, but he's still like 70.
That's the worst part of Captain Marvel, is just de-aging Samuel L. Jackson.
So every time he has
according
to
to
walk,
them,
it's like Robert De Niro on The Irishman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Also, why are you doing that? Like, Samuel L. Jackson has been Samuel L. Jackson since he was like 30.
Are you asking why you de-age someone when it's when they were younger? Kind of obvious fill in the blank answer there, but
there's no reason for it. The problem with Captain Marvel as a character is that Captain Marvel is a terrible character. Brie Larson gives...
Oh, his problem with her as a character is that she's a terrible character. Very insightful. Very, very insightful, Ben. Guys, my problem with Wanda as a character in Multiverse of Madness is that she's a terrible character. There you go. That's all the explanation you should ask for.
One of the worst performances in movie history. She has every power. All of them. So where is the suspense?
I think
you can say she's overpowered and nothing can stop her. She doesn't have every power. She's got a few, like flight, energy beams, invulnerability, regeneration, that stuff. But I mean, not every power, not even I wouldn't even say 1% of the conceivable powers you could come up with. You could ironically say that Wanda has every power in Multiverse of Madness, and that would make more sense than this statement.
She was just miscast. I don't think Brie Larson can do Captain Marvel very well.
Okay, so who would you have cast as Captain Marvel?
Gina Carano.
Insert publicly approved Daily Wire statement. Insert Daily Wire ad read. Insert Daily Wire quirky chuckle thing from the female character. Insert Daily Wire aside. Insert Daily Wire edited in clips that are irrelevant to what's being said or contradict it. God, how is that? Look, I wish they'd stick to politics. I wish they'd stick to Ben getting up on a stage and destroying some college students in an argument and, imparting lessons upon them instead of doing all this, because they're doing too much.
Everyone for that.
So, in the studio, she's like, Gina Carano, insert clip. What do we do after that? Fake laugh. It's like, exactly. Dude, that would fit in perfectly. If I had that would fit in perfectly.
They made her incredibly boring as a character. And part of that is because if you are going to make a female superhero, then there should be something about her that actually means it's important that she's female. Yeah, like Black Widow, actually, they tried to make characteristics of Black.
So Ben's statement, if you have a female character in something, then you need to make it be important that she's female. Sounds like someone he destroyed an argument would say. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's like saying, if you're going to have a man in something, you need to make it important that they're a man. No clue what he means by that.
Black Widow that are unique to women.
What? So Black Widow's a good character because she had a uterus removed? And Captain Marvel isn't because she didn't? That's your argument?
Again, the idea is there's something special about the woman doing
And
this.
you're showing clips from a movie that's far worse than any of the movies you've named as the worst ones so far. All right, bud.
Then she has to actually do
You know the editors never actually watched a Marvel movie in their life, and if they had, they took away the same shit as Ben did.
some, stereotypically female things from time to time. Okay, Captain Marvel.
What are
Mark.
you talking about? If you have a female character in something, it has to be important. It has to have some meaning to the movie that they're a female character, and they have to do stereotypical female things. Like, actually, I would be. You know what? Ben should actually, no, I bet Ben has written books. After this video, we're gonna go on a quick dive to see what Ben Shapiro's books are like, because I have to imagine someone is like him has written books. Now, I would be very curious actually to read one and potentially rip it apart on here, perchance, depending if I have time someday.
Good. Okay, other ones that are not good. So
It's
the
like he's kind of blowing my mind with the statements he's making here.
Marvels, as you would imagine, for
Yeah, obviously.
exactly the same reason. No explanation necessary. Absolute garbage.
No, the
and box
Marvels,
office.
this is the one thing I'll take from him where he doesn't need to explain himself. He can just say, yeah, it's garbage, and I'll nod my head. Yeah, dude, you're right.
This reflects that. Yeah, $206 million for a Marvel movie that probably cost
Damn,
$200 million to make and another $200 million to market. Giant fail for the Marvels. Thor: Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi has no
Worst
idea
movie
where
ever.
to stop. There is a problem that some directors have where they get sort of the Michael Cimino syndrome, where it's like, here is the thing that brought me here, and now I'm going to do so much of it that that is coming out your ears.
I got fucking octopus coming out.
Ben Shapiro just made a statement I agree with that isn't related to politics. That's related to media criticism. He's just made a statement I agree with. I think that's a first. Wow. Like a statement is in like a quote unquote original thought from him, not him just saying the Marvels is garbage, which can be from anyone.
Out of my fucking ears, mate.
Right? He takes all the things that kind of make Thor Ragnarok interesting, and then he just quadruples them.
He also threw his VFX artist under the bus.
No,
And, like,
no,
got
and he's lost me. All right, so what Ben just said was he takes everything that made Thor 3 interesting and quadruples them. No, if he'd done that, then you'd get a really good movie that's potentially like 3 times better. What he does is he takes the comedy that works in Thor 3, he dumbs it down, he adds TikTok filters and sound effects over it, and he times it by 50. That's a far more accurate statement to what happened.
press video, which did not go very well.
Does he look real?
No, none of
Does
us.
she look-
She something looks very off about this.
This is my other problem, is that so many of these movies are so VFX heavy. Like, that's not how you make a good movie. It
Yeah.
not Guardians of the Galaxy 2, exactly the same problem, which is
Sorry? Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is on his top 5 worst movies list from the MCU. And Multiverse of Madness isn't, Quantumania isn't, Black Widow isn't. What are you? None of the post-Endgame movies are, other than the Marvels. And Guardians 2 is? Sorry? Please do explain why, except I firmly believe you won't at all. Because, I mean, you haven't explained anything, any reasoning behind any of your choices thus far.
it's not super horrible.
What?
No, all right.
Okay, his statement is Guardians 3 movies put on the top 5 worst movies isn't super horrible, thereby implying that every movie he doesn't put on this list is better than not super horrible, thereby implying that he enjoyed. I give up. God, this is insane.
No, that sounds bad.
Sorry?
Some of these characters should have been shows. Like Guardians of the Galaxy as like a weekly sitcom would be amazing.
Sorry? No, it wouldn't. His criticism of Guardians 3 thus far, for it being top 5 worst Marvel movies, is it should have been a show. Excuse you?
What is the difference in mood between Guardians of the Galaxy and Loki? Like, not much.
Sorry? What is the difference in mood from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and the Loki show, which was absolute pretentious garbage? You please explain there, Ben, except I know you won't.
I mean, it's kind of the same. Like, it should have been a
Oh,
series.
it's kind of the same? Guys, what's the difference from Lord of the Rings and I don't know, My Little Pony? What's the difference, guys? It's kind of the same. I wish he would explain. I do indeed. My oh my. Guys, listen, I just hit a button and now I lost the StreamYards tab. I have no clue if I'm still live or not. Ben frustrated me so much with that comment of comparing the Loki show to Guardians 2 and saying they're the same thing that he fully made me lose control of the stream. What? His next pick for the worst. Okay, guys, I hope the stream isn't over. I hope it's still actually here because I would be shocked to see that. His explanation. I'm gonna attempt to. All right, let me just check phone. Let me see if the stream is still happening. All right. Looks like it is, but my screen is no longer being shared. And like, guys, I'm just looking at the Ben Shapiro video. Okay, his takes are so awful that he fully made me lose uh the stream section of my tabs. I have no clue how to get back to it. Uh oh no. New private window. No, we're gonna can we go back? Turn on vertical search tabs. Can we organize tabs? Guys, it's showing up. No clue. Oh, recently closed tabs. Nope. I'm just gonna StreamYards. Enter Studio. Okay. Oh God. Okay. Oh, I can from the back. Sorry. 1 second. Reduce microphone. Okay. Testing. Fuck. God damn. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. Wait. Testing. No. Damn. All right. Stand by for technical errors. Fuck. How did this? All right. This is how you don't run a stream. No clue how this happened. All right. Testing. God damn, there's still an echo. Can I kick myself from the stream? Okay, we're gonna try something new. Okay. No, echo. There's still an echo. God damn. I guys, this is don't stream because stuff like this happens. All right, let me try something. Figured it I figured it out. Okay.
Which is, it's not.
Something looks very off about this.
This is my other problem is that so many of these movies are so VFX heavy. Like, that's not how you make a good movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, exactly the same problem, which is it's not super horrible.
What?
The characters make zero sense. Zero. Okay, so here's why.